Why Did I Get Married? Actually, they're using another title for it as well.
What other title?
Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married?
Oh.
Tyler Perry is my new hero.
Tyler Perry wrote, directs it, and is probably the lead actor in it. It was written originally, I understand, as a play.
The story of the movie is there are 4 couples
Yes.
that go on a retreat to examine their marriages. And they, apparently the story is they do it every year.
It's a reunion picture. And you should know something about this, Marshall, because you're one of the very best reunion pictures ever made. You were an executive producer of.
Yeah.
Big Chill, it was made, what, 25 years ago or more now?
It is now 22 years. This month, in fact.
But in a sense, it's the same kind of thing where people get together to resolve problems. And
Yes.
I believe at the end of it, problems were resolved in that one also.
All resolved, and those that can't be resolved, you just move on.
This is a simple story. They're all 4 black couples. Anything dealing with race these days is very sensitive in America, but these are middle class, upper middle class black couples. One
Yes.
of them is a pediatrician, one of them is a book editor, as I remember.
Yes, one's an architect, and
Married.
one is married to a woman who runs a high-end hairdresser.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
But these 4 couples, what fascinated me was they are suffering the problems of any married couples, white, black, whatever color you choose.
they're extreme. I mean, one of them is given venereal disease, given the clap to
Yes.
another one's wife. The things are extreme. This is absolutely Shakespearean in its form, this comedy. Shakespearean comedies start with disorder and end with order being reestablished. These 4 couples are in disorder at the beginning. In the end of it, they're all reconciled. This is the way that all Shakespeare comedies work. The other hallmark of Shakespeare comedies is that they go into the forest to work out their problems. In every Shakespeare comedy, these people, I think not by coincidence, go to Colorado, into the wild. It's a very universal concept here.
And the women wore the best clothes. There must have been $1 million worth of furs. And it was fabulous.
There's a lot of actual farce in it. When the wives argue with the wives and the mistress, they don't argue. They grab each other by the throat, pull a hair roll on the floor. I mean,
Yes.
it's filled with cat fights. The emotions are very out in the open, which is one of the fun of it.
Yes.
And the audience reflects that. Again, it was a small house when we saw it, but when somebody said a funny line, they clapped and
Yes.
said, whee, and laughed and
Yes,
talked back to the screen.
that, Lorenzo, probably for me was the key to the movie. These people said what they really felt, right? And there is no, you don't need to go find someone to explain to a psychiatrist or a family counselor. They were doing their own counseling by being very honest. And you like hearing people say, you know, how could you bring your mistress here, you know?
And indeed, a good question when you go on a marital retreat to bring your mistress along. The movie's done in a very simple style. When I first saw it, I said, my God, this is so crude. And I meant that by crude, I meant just the staging of it and everything. Sometimes when 4 people speak, they stand together in a line and speak.
Yes.
The great Louis Buñuel, one of the great directors of all time, when they asked him how he directed, his answer was, I get my actors in the viewfinder and I keep the camera rolling until they leave the viewfinder and then I move the camera.
Very good.
And that's what Buñuel
That's
said.
excellent. Excellent. I think that's probably what Hitchcock also said.
And that,
yes.
that to me, I think, is a very good way to do it instead of these camera gymnastics.
The belief is that there is only the black audience for this picture. I disagree.
People say, why'd you go to see that movie?
I went to see it because it did $21 million plus and beat out Michael Clayton.
All American movies about black people generally are very tough, violent movies.
Or very comedic, like the one that...
Oh, Eddie Murphy and that kind
yeah,
of movie. That's
yes.
right. But they don't make sort of domestic dramas
No,
about black people.
this is a domestic drama.
It's a domestic drama. If enough black audiences turn out to see this, will be very interesting.
There has been a real change in the demographic of black audiences. People go to college together. Listen, we had Colin Powell. We have Condoleezza Rice, Secretary of State. You
have them.
I don't have them. But the idea is that it's not just to be an entertainer, right? That you were not just
Bojangles.
Bojangles. There is a big change in America which Hollywood has not paid attention to. When I called some of my friends who work in the film business, none of them were going to see it. None. Because they don't recognize the audience outside of white, young people who are going to the movies. Oh, there's God in the movie. That's the biggest difference in the movie. If you made the same four couples who were white and made that movie, there would be no God in it.
I don't think it has to do with color. It has to do with Tyler Perry as a Christian.
The other character we haven't talked about that, of course, is one of the husbands is a mean guy, and he's got a very fat wife, a wonderful, wonderful actress named Jill Scott, I believe, and she's really a singer. The other person is Janet Jackson, is the two name stars. I didn't know the other actors. And what happens is she has the strength to dump him and to go on and become not thin, but find her own identity and get the cutest guy at the end. It's a wonderful story.
Yeah,
I thought you'd have a tear in your eye, Lorenzo.
I definitely had a tear in my eye at the end, but I'm very sentimental. Yeah. Somebody said I have the sensitivity of a 15-year-old girl. Is my sensibility basically under all of this?
Yeah, because it really is very moving, and I'm pleased to have seen it, and I think more of the people who make movies in the town that we live in should perhaps think about why that picture is so successful.
Excellent observation, Mrs.
Okay.
Nestler.